All right, so it's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and open this Recreation Committee special meeting for October 2nd. And just as a reminder, since it is a special meeting, we will only be able to discuss what's actually on the agenda. All right, since we are just getting the minutes, it would be my suggestion that we come back to that. That way people can have the opportunity to kind of peruse them. So if we could start with number 2, actual discussion regarding the recreation center. So we'll start with the HVAC system.
The HVAC system that was bid out in this fiscal year is in the process of being installed. He's hoping to actually have it done this Friday. We were hoping sooner, but some issues came up and pushed us back a little bit. But he's got all the interiors done and the units out back. It's wired up. He's just connecting the ductwork together, and then it's ready to go. So he'll have to paint after that. Bid actually, the completion date's October 25th on that, so we still got plenty of time to be within the constraints of the bid packet, but it doesn't look like it's going to be an issue for him.
Okay, because I had initially thought that we're going to, and I'm probably misremembering here, but we're going to try and have that done before the Bourbon Festival. Am I correct?
Yes. We were hoping to, and then he had issue getting the unit. He had one he thought secured, and somebody had bought it out from under him. So we had to get another one. And he actually went down to, I think it was Georgia, to get this unit. So.
Now, if we would have had this done in that time frame we just discussed, what was the plan actually for the gym? What were we going to use the gym for as relates to the Bourbon?
Well, we still use the gym. We have had craft vendors in there, which is the next topic on there.
Okay.
We had a kind of a craft fair. We had 19 different vendors set up inside the gym, and it was wonderful. Everybody still loved it. It was still hot. We had big fans going and whatnot, trying to cool it off, but it was still hot. And that's what we were hoping to have, a nice cool place for them to come. Now we are going to have the same situation, actually a few more vendors. We're going to have 22 for the Arts and Crafts Fair. We're going to be open the same way. We'll have vendors in here. They got their food and stuff set out in our parking lot, and the AC should be working, so they'll be able to get food, come cruise our craft vendors here, and sit down and eat their food in the air conditioning and have real bathrooms and whatnot as well. So
I have a question. Is that part of the Arts and Craft Fair, or is this something that we do?
it's something that we're doing.
Okay, in conjunction with the Arts and Craft Fair?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I talked with Miss Mauser, and she said it'd be fine with them because it benefits them to give
Right.
her people a place to go as well. So.
Okay.
she
How
told
do we
me
get the people? How did you?
There's actually one of the vendors that came up with the entire idea. She used to work for us years ago, and she's kind of been on the craft fair circuit, so she kind of knows the ins and outs. And we worked out the details and got it all figured out, and did it last year for the Bourbon Festival, and turned out great. And so we expanded to the Arts and Crafts Festival this year as well. Since we are shut down, we can't do anything at all anyway, so it's a good use of the building, and get some different things in to add to those festivities.
So it's just the crafts though, no food?
No, we won't have any food.
Gotcha.
It's,
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing all the food up there in the parking lot and stuff. No, we're not trying to compete with them or anything. It's just a little bit to add to it.
Okay.
So we said 22 vendors?
For the Arts and Crafts, that's what we're looking at right now, is 22.
And I'm assuming we're getting some revenue from that?
Yeah, they rent the spaces in there. So,
How much are the spaces?
I think it's $100 a space for a 10 by 10. And then I think it's an additional charge for electric. And we provide a table and 2 chairs with within that. So,
Yeah, I went through there. It was a nice setup. There were some nice vendors in there.
yeah.
It cost me some money. My daughter in there.
Yeah, I tried to keep my wife out, but yeah, there's some really unique stuff that, Barber Festival especially, you didn't see a whole lot of
Yeah.
arts and crafts out on the lawn like usual.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
they came in here, they were like, wow.
That's very
Yeah.
true.
It was different. It was surprising. It was surprising to me. When you walked in there was a lot of different type of vendors in there.
Yeah, we got metal art and clothes and jewelry and you name it, it's pretty much in there. And that's what she does. She tries to kind of hand pick different avenues. So you got one metal worker, one woodworker, one whatnot. So, she does a really good job with it.
Awesome.
And I'm assuming we had some signage out someplace, I didn't see it, so.
We put some signs on the building, and she actually had some necklaces, like beaded necklaces, that she had the local company gave to her, and she put on tags on them, the craft vendors in the recreation
I
center.
think there was a little sign over here on the corner too.
Yeah, we had them up on the sides of the building. I think she had a couple in the yard, but they were walking through the crowd handing out beads, and brought a lot of people back too. And they got bracelets, I think, for the Arts and Crafts Festival. They'll walk around and hand out bracelets to people, and it's got recreation department vendors on those, so they'll know to come back and take a look at it.
Good, that's a good utilization of space.
Yeah, it worked out well. Everybody seems happy with it. I think the biggest hit's the bathrooms.
Yeah.
They just absolutely love the bathrooms. So,
Well, the fact that it's so close to the food court.
Mhm.
That's what. There's a lot of people that kind of mill around the food court, and then
But of course, they're gonna do that differently this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna revert back to the way it was
Yes.
a few years ago, where they're mixed in with the vendors,
mhm.
so. But
Oh, you mean out here? Really?
We're supposed to be over here.
yeah, well, I'm just saying, it's not gonna be like it was last year. Last
Oh, yeah,
year,
yeah.
that was not
Yeah,
good.
we're not gonna be up there.
All right. Let's go back to the minutes, item number 1. Did everybody have a chance to look over the minutes I did? So, what's your pleasure as it relates to the minutes? Are you comfortable with it?
I'm comfortable with it.
So
Chairman.
you prepared to make a motion then?
I am prepared to make a motion to accept the minutes from Thursday, March 22nd, 2018, to accept those minutes.
As presented. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
All right, it's been properly motioned and seconded that the minutes from March 22nd, 2018 be approved. Any question on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, you have the same privilege. Okay, they are approved. We shall go to item number 3 now. Mr. Jeffries?
The pool, just to summarize kind of how the summer went with our pool programming, participation. It was actually a pretty good year for the pool. It was up quite a bit from previous years. Our daily attendance, which includes our family split program and general admission, we were around 7,500 people that came through the door, which is up about 700 from last year. Our Water Oaks program was busting at the seams. We ended up having a total of 91 participants in that program. 34 of them were full-time. The remainder are drop-ins, so they just pay when they come to class, they'll pay. But, it's a 10-week program. They meet twice a week. We got morning programs and evening programs, so the pools are pretty full with those guys. Our swim team, we ended up with 54 participants, and they had 6 meets, which they swim with Louisville and Bullitt County and different pools, country clubs, and they always love it as usual. Had a good season. Swimming lessons. We had 262 participants for swim lessons. And we had morning and evening classes with those as well, with level 1 all the way through adults. So we pretty much teach 3 and up with those. We actually had 4 adults this year. We don't usually get a whole lot of adults, but we had 4, so that's pretty encouraging. And we had 3 2-week sessions is what we ended up doing this year, so worked out pretty well. I think overall, we didn't have many issues at all with the pool. Steven, of course, is the one that pretty much manages the day-to-day operations up there, and I don't think he had too many issues or anything you'd like to discuss about it.
Everything went pretty good for the most part. A couple little hiccups, but they were taken care of.
And
Pretty
our
quickly, so.
dipping dogs as well to finish off the season, and that was pretty well attended. Did end up getting some bad weather that Saturday afternoon, but we got a lot of people in for that. I know they raised, I want to say it was just over $7,000 that they raised from the event, so turned out pretty nice for that. So.
Everything as far as equipment wise, I mean, fell in line with the budget, didn't have any big surprises as far as equipment and chemicals, you know?
Now, once we got the new pool pump put in, I mean, it's run like a dream. We got the chemical pumps. I mean, they've got their wear and tear just because of what they deal with. The chemicals tear everything to pieces. So, there's a little bit of time spent on working on those, but it's not too bad. Switching over to the liquid chlorine helped a lot. It's not near as troublesome as the calcium buildup from the calcium hypochlorite tablets.
Okay. Okay, anything else regarding the, well, you want to talk about the lifeguards thing?
Yeah, we've got it done. I'll talk about that.
Were you finished with everything else? I'm sorry.
As far as summer programs,
Yeah.
as long as no one has any questions about any of that. We had 11 lifeguards this summer. We actually started with 8, I believe. Yeah. And ended up getting some more that aged in later on in the season. But it is becoming an issue, not just with our pool, with all pools, is getting certified lifeguards. So what we're looking at trying to do is get one of us basically to be a certified lifeguard instructor, and then we will teach the course for our lifeguards so that they don't have to incur the cost. It's at least $200 to get certified, and that's a cheap class. So
And where do they have to go to do that?
you can go to Lebanon, Fort Knox, Louisville. There's different options. Janice was certified before. She's done classes for us before. But with different career options, that's expired. But hoping it's not an issue to get somebody certified and take care of that. It will let people. A lot of the swim teams from the local high schools are interested in doing it, but I think the $200 plus scares them to get started.
It cuts into your profit.
First week you don't pay anything.
But that's upfront money we're talking about. right?
Yeah. So they have to pay for it. So
Well, let me ask a question. All right, so you're saying if we get someone certified, then that we won't be out that expense as far as a new employee?
the employee
Or-
won't be out the expense.
Employee won't be out that expense?
Yeah.
The employees got to pay
We're,
for it.
they pay for their course. So that's
Okay.
how it works right
All
now.
right, so is there any way as an incentive, and you have to be careful doing this, where if we get an employee where it can just be gradually taken out of their check, is that not an option?
Well, what I'm looking at doing is that's a major cost of any lifeguard course is the instructors. So we're going to eat that cost.
Oh,
is
okay.
what my plan is.
Okay.
You know, it'll just be one of us, just teach the class, and then we got our staff.
Okay.
There are certain things that we do, we will have to buy, they'll have to get the book, the CPR mask, you know, that you have to buy to start the course. And we'll cover those costs as well. I mean, usually it's around $45, $50, somewhere in that ballpark for those items. So I can take that hit to get guards.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I mean, it sounds like that's a really worthwhile endeavor for one of our staff to become trained. Is that something that would be suitable for contingency money, that we could possibly pick up the books, you know, and the things that they need, since it's one of our employees or one of our staff that would be getting trained?
Do you think you could work that in your budget and not alarm the mayor?
I'm sure I can get it figured out. You know, it's basically coming to a point of we're not going to have much of a choice.
Right. Well, this get some data together, and then let's talk to the mayor, and then look at our options, because I noticed that in Jefferson County they were struggling getting lifeguards, and they got to the point where they had senior citizens that were actually lifeguards.
Retired, you know,
Yeah.
retired people.
Yeah,
coming
that's what
back.
they did in Jefferson County. And
Yeah.
I mean senior citizens.
Yeah, they were begging all summer long
Yeah.
to get them in. And we are, you know, most of our guards go to Lebanon to get certified with Charlesie out there, and she had the same problem. You know, the last 3 that we got, she was mad because they were coming from me, and she's teaching the class, and she only gets 1 out of the 4 that were in that class, and I got 3 of them. You know, but it's just the nature of it now. You know, the companies are paying more, which we're upping our pay.
Right.
You know, I think we're starting at probably $10 next summer.
I think that's a
We're
great
gonna have to
idea,
start
to
it.
knock out some of that upfront cost, and
Right.
probably
Yeah.
recruit more of
You
the
know.
local.
We can't pay what some of these other places are paying, but yeah, if we can knock out the other portions of it, then I think they'll be happy to work with us. So,
Okay.
that's what we're planning on. We're trying to find a course to take, because they're not offered very often, the instructor courses.
Okay.
You know, you can get a lifeguard course, but the instructor courses are hard to find. So hopefully we can get something going, you know, this winter, and just be ready. We can set one up. You know, kind of what my thought is I don't know how it works just yet. If we can certify them, they won't have to pay. But if they don't work for us to get their card, then they would have to pay a portion of it to get that card from us.
Okay.
You know, and one way to offset some of the books and stuff is we could open it up and do other people as well. We could charge the $200 that typical places charge for people that are guarding at the country clubs or whatnot, and that money would offset the cost of our staff's books. So that's an option too.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, any more discussion as relates to the pool? Okay, so let's go to item number 4, the parks, the community park renovation project.
I know several of you have seen the renovations that have been done out there. I think they're turned out really nice. I know people were constantly just raving about the basketball court, especially. That's what everybody's big favorite is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It really is.
You know, I love it all. You go down there, anytime we go down there, you know, for picking up trash or anything, there's people driving through, and the people are driving through and talking to us, and they're like, I just love what you're doing, and, you know, it really needed this, and it's kind of brought life back into it, which, I mean, it's always been busy. It's always been a busy park. That's why it was just common sense to put the money in it. But these renovations have really made a huge difference with what we can do down there as well.
I had one question about it, and I mentioned to you earlier that I do spend a lot of time going through there. That's actually part of my bike path or an exercise path. I've noticed that and I was telling Daniel earlier, that the activity and usage is up tremendously. when you're down there. It looks really nice, everything. Is there something that we should look at as far as lighting?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, that's, Jeff Miller and I have been in discussions on that. We're trying to finalize the plan of what we're gonna do. Because I talked to the mayor before, and he wants lights on the opposite side,
That's exactly
overflow
where I was
portion.
going. Yeah.
The overflow portion of it, he was wanting lights there, so we're gonna put some street lights in on that side, and then come across and go down to the basketball court. We need another pole set by the new pavilion, so we can get some electric to that, or close to it. It's not gonna be attached to it, but
Right.
be
This
close
isn't
enough.
something that we would consider, I mean, you're not ever consider closing it off at night or anything, right? It's going to be open. Is that correct?
Yeah, after discussions with police chief and everything else, I mean, the park's closed, but we're not gonna gate it shut at this time.
So that's a good reason, another good reason to have some adequate lighting down there.
Yeah.
Especially in that area that you mentioned.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go down, once we get the electric to the pavilion, we're gonna extend the last light pole over, and we're gonna put lights on the basketball court, similar to like the tennis court and the
Yeah.
volleyball court up here. They'll be on push button timers,
Button timers.
so they can turn it on and play until like
Nice.
10 o'clock at night, you
Nice.
know, so that should be nice for them. They're excited to get that coming in, but
Absolutely.
But we're trying to get all that finalized of what we want. We just want to do it all in one shot. So that's why we want to make sure we touch on everything. There's some parts we're going to do underground as well, because of the trees and things over there, just to protect it. So, but it should be done here before too long to get that knocked out.
Very nice.
Good. All right, anything else there, Mr. Jeffrey?
We're still working on the trails down there.
Yes, okay.
We're looking at trying to find a feasible way to get over the creek to connect this main trail loop right now. I talked to Ben Byrne. He's been trying to come up with some different ideas to get across the creek, because the way it rises, it's going to have to be something that can handle a substantial amount of load. You know, with debris and whatnot in the water, if it goes up against it, it's going to knock out a low-lying bridge. So it's going to have to be an elevated bridge. Maybe not quite as high as the metal one on the opposite side. We got a metal structured bridge, but it's going to have to be up there pretty decent. He's looking at different options with culvert pipes and things too. So
I've seen some interesting, and I won't take a second on it, but I've seen some designs that actually, in these low-lying areas, such as over around, visit people's farms, and they're in these low-lying areas that they have these creeks and rivers. They have those concrete bridges that allow water to pass through in low-level times, but debris will slide over them when you have high levels. So it may be something to look into versus a big, tall structure. You know, something that may not need to be tall, it may just need to be a concrete structure low that allows debris and everything to just kind of wash over it. I have seen those.
yeah, there's
and
a few
they-
down here on 62.
Yep, and they work, seem like they work pretty well. So it may save some expense, you know, versus engineering some type of a tall bridge
Structure.
to get up and over it versus.
And that's kind of what we want too, is a structure that we can take, you know, an off-road vehicle across.
Exactly.
You know, because when we're maintaining those trails, that's where we're at right now. We're at the farthest point. So either way, we're traveling a long distance to haul this surfacing that we're putting down in there. So it's taking a long time to get the material down there.
Yeah.
You know, if we had this bridge right now, we could go down this side and keep rocking, but we're kind of at a standstill because it just takes so long to make that journey, because you're almost a mile down.
Yeah. It's looking
Now,
pretty good
so-
though, what you all are doing. I mean, it's-
Appreciate it, yeah. We're excited. I mean, it's all coming together. We got all the grade work done down there, and the grass seed planted. It's all grown up real nice. It's a good time to get it done with all that rain we had. So once it all fills in, they're working on nailing down the parking blocks down there now. They're all sitting there. They're actually putting the rebar in them now, getting them spaced evenly and everything. So that should be done this week. And then the next thing will be the electric, next project for them there, so.
Anything else as relates to the community hall? Okay. Any questions?
No.
Okay. All right, so let's go to number 5, programs. And we'll start with basketball, then we'll get into volleyball, which is Ms. Hill's specialty, I think.
Mhm.
And then the summary of the summer leagues.
The basketball leagues, basically just putting out that we started the adult league for the fall. It's been a low league this year. There's only 4 teams in it. Not sure exactly why. Some people are worried about the competition level or whatnot, but you know, I think it's just a busy time for a lot of people. They just don't have time to commit. So, but that's running right now.
What's the age as relates to the adult league?
18 and up.
18 and up.
You know,
18 and up.
as high as you want to go. I mean, we've had 50-year-olds playing, so they get up there, but majority of them now probably, what, 20s, 30s.
Between 20 and 30.
Any co-ed in that or just?
There's one girl on one of the teams this
Yeah.
season.
Okay.
She's
First
on the
season.
roster.
It's on the roster. Okay.
First season we had a female playing as well, so
Good.
you know, we don't stop them from playing, but
No, I mean, I think that's good. They have opportunity to play.
yeah, there's just not. It's hard to find enough participation to form a girls only league or women's only league. So
Yeah.
that's why we had to go the co-ed route just with our population here. So, but we are taking registration for our 5th quarter basketball league. That's for 4-year-olds to 9-year-olds. Well, basically 10. As long as they're 9 before October 1st, they can participate in that. The girls' registration for that is till October 12th, and the boys was December 2nd. And then we have our middle school league, that's 7th and 8th grade. We're taking registration for. It's the same, the 12th of October is the deadline for that. And then we'll probably end up extending that one just because some of the middle schools are slower doing their tryouts. And that's kind of what this is for, is the ones that don't make the team. So want to make sure we give everybody the option to join that league if they.
You also
want
have
to.
fall break right now too, so
Mhm.
that's going to affect that.
Yeah, and we said like all the 5th quarter forms and the middle school forms, they were all taken to schools. 5th quarter, pretty much every kid should have had one put in their backpack at some point. The middle school, of course, is a little different setup. We take the schools a stack, and they'll make announcements, and they come out and pick them up. So, you know, it's not as good of advertisement for it, but you know, we're trying to spread the word with social media and whatnot as well. So, and then Ms. Hill can discuss how the volleyball league is going.
It's going great. Everybody loves it. We've had 8 or 9 teams each session. We've had 3 so far, the spring, summer, and then now we're in the fall. So,
How many teams do we have now?
9 teams now. And I think it could just continue to grow, really.
That's, you had what, 6 or 7 teams last year, is that right?
There was
It's
8
been-
the first in the spring, and then 9. And,
8, 9, and 9 this time. So,
So there's spring and fall,
spring, summer, and fall.
spring, summer, and fall.
Because, yeah, the gym's so packed during basketball that we can't really fit in a
yeah,
winter.
there's not enough space to do a winter program right now.
Okay.
So, and they would play. They would. They're diehards.
Well,
But, I mean, it's good atmosphere, everybody, you know, gets along, people come watch.
And I have a question as it relates to the officiating. How many referees do you have?
It's based on the honor system.
Honor system. Okay.
So, pretty much people call their own if they're in the net or if the ball goes out of bounds, you know, everybody's really honest with if it was in or out. If there's any kind of, not argument, but I guess discrepancy about a call, they just replay the point.
Okay.
And I mean, everybody seems to be okay with that.
These are all co-eds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they must have 2 females on the court to play, so.
How do you call doubles, or do you don't worry about them?
Some people call their own. It kind of depends on the level. There's
Okay.
a bit of different ability levels in the league. So, you know, some of the people that play in Louisville that are used to being called, they'll call it on themselves. But some people are just learning and everybody kind of knows that, you know, they'll get there one day, they're just not there yet.
And so what nights of the week do you play?
Mondays.
What time?
Start at 6 and our last game's at 8:30. There's 50 minutes between, or 50 minutes allotted for each game.
We've got some companies starting to look at joining with their employees. American Fujitsu has a team in. This is their second season having a team in for volleyball, and they actually had a team in with the kickball league as well. So, yeah, that's
Do you have
kinda-
tournaments at the end of the year, or? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're hoping, you know, kind of to get more people involved is the corporate aspect of it. Trying to get different companies to put teams in, you know, because it helps them and helps us both, so.
Maybe doing a day tournament or something at some point.
Or what kind of time?
Like just a day, like an all day.
Oh, like on a Saturday or something?
Mhm.
Okay.
They do that a lot in Louisville, sand and indoor.
Okay.
So maybe we'll get to have one sometime. And that's an opportunity for people from out of town to come because they don't really have to come every week. You know, it's this one day and you get it all over with too. But we do have people traveling from E-Town and Louisville to play in this league.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. Good job.
Okay, anything else on volleyball? Anything else on volleyball, Ms. Hill?
I don't think so.
I know that's your first love.
Oh, well, yeah, I play about 4 nights a week, so.
Okay, the summary of the Summer League for 2018.
I'll let Stephen speak to that.
So for the summer league, we started a new youth kickball this season out here at Don Harned Field, which is a baseball field right behind us. We had about 52 participants, and we made those into about 6 teams. We had 2 different age groups, 6 to 8 and 9 to 12-year-olds. And it really worked out well. We had plenty of volunteer parents help out on the field, and they just had a blast every night. We had a couple rainouts where we had to reschedule, but it turned out really well. So I can definitely see us doing that year to year if we've got, yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Can't wait for it to start again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a pool party at the end of the season for all the participants. We let them come in the pool and we got pizza and stuff for them. And the parents just all night long just raving how much they loved it. You know, just saying that it was such a great activity, and you know that's what they were wanting, was not as of a competitive sport, you know, for their child. They don't, baseball and football and basketball are just a little too much for their taste. So it gives them another outlet to get a little exercise and, you know, get the kid away from the video games. So.
And then moving on from the youth kickball, we also did an adult co-ed kickball, which that worked out great as well. We only had 5 teams for that, and there was 9 to 15 players on each roster. But just talking to people within the gym and seeing people that were in the stands watching that, I think next season there'll be a lot more than 5 teams. because a lot of people kept saying they didn't know about it and stuff like that, but now that they do, they're very interested. And like Daniel was mentioning earlier, Fuji Seal had a team in that, which their team actually won. And it was just a good environment for adults to come and play, just do something in the summer. So we could definitely see ourselves doing that again as well. And it was also held here at Don Harnett. Games are on Thursday nights, once a week, or Tuesday nights, sorry. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the adult.
How
football.
do we, they sound like wonderful programs. And to me, it sounds like you're not getting the information out to the public about the wonderful programs that you have. So is there something that, how can we get it out more to the public? Do you think that maybe sending information to companies or talking to, say, the youth kickball, talking to the schools, like actually speaking to the schools, or interviews with the news or social media. Social media is a big one. How can we get more for you guys? Because it seems like you're putting in the work, and you have a lack of people showing up, and it's really, this is a well thought out plan. And when you talk about these numbers, I know that you could probably have more. I personally could not play kickball, but I would watch it. I just don't want to get hit with the ball.
So you can play.
Right. I will cheer you all day long. But this is hard work. When you're doing this, it's hard work, and people should know about what you're offering. I think that that's a main problem with the recreation center itself, is that you don't hear the good stuff that you're doing. It's what you're not doing all the time, or what people perceive that you should be doing. So how should it be? We advertise this, social media. Facebook ads are cheap. And what about the newspaper? Just getting the word out about it.
We do, like for the summer programs, kids are not as hard to get hold of because of the school. We actually came up with an entire program sheet that talked about all the pool activities, kickball. I think we even put basketball and everything on that form, just so parents had one page they got from their child and said, okay, all these activities are going on.
But for the people that don't have kids in school,
that I guess would be under the adult participation for that. We reached out to different factories. I think Janice called probably 10 or 15 at least, trying to see if they wanted to start something at their factory to get involved. We let them know about kickball leagues and the volleyball leagues and things, so they can get involved.
And we did email
We did put it out to the newspapers, and they put it out. It's because we'll use, like, we have a Facebook page that we put everything on. We try to keep it up to date, keep it active.
But maybe paying.
And we get the city hall to add that to theirs. They'll share like the different posts that we do, because they got a bigger following. I'm open to anything to try to just make it easier to get the word out, of course. But with our funds, I don't know if a whole lot of advertising doesn't work for us. We can't afford a whole lot in that respect. We try to do what we can with the resources we have, but I don't know what else to really hit on. The adult part of it is, I think, the hardest part to get the word out. A lot of people do, and a lot of it's word of mouth. And once the programs get established, it usually isn't as big of an issue, because they'll know it's there. Like the adult basketball league, they know it's there. The worst part about it is the skill level of it is so high that it runs a lot of people off. The volleyball is not as bad, because there's a whole gap in between the top team and the bottom team on that. But anybody can play. They try to have a good time with it. But pushing it to the factories and the different businesses is I think the best thing to try to do is get the word out to the adults.
I think also, there's a lot of organizations such as Optimus, Rotary, Kiwanis, Chamber of Commerce, utilize them to push that information out for you as well. They have members and they work at specific places and they can give that information to their workplace or their kids or their friends. We're all in this together, so you got to think differently, because everyone doesn't have they don't have a kid at school or they don't work at a factory. So we need to reach all people, not just a certain sector, and I think we'll get a better response. And if you use those organizations that are out there, and I'm sure that they would work with us too. I can speak for the Kiwanis. We would definitely give it to our members and ask them to share it with their workplaces. The Chamber of Commerce has a calendar, and so they could put it on the calendar and let you know when certain things are going on, and that's over 100 businesses. And it's all different businesses. So I'm just saying, I'm just trying to think the marketing skills for you that,
I appreciate it.
that's free to you.
That's what we like to hear.
Okay, sorry.
That sounds great.
That's thinking outside the box. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Okay, anything else to add on that discussion? All right, that takes us into, I think, item 6, other business. Okay, Daniel, when would you suggest that we have our next meeting date? And actually, that should probably be last, but that's all right.
Well, the next meeting date is scheduled for the 4th Thursday of December, which is a tough time, I think.
Yeah.
4th Thursday of September? December.
Yeah, December 28th is what it is. So,
that's not feeling good right there.
yeah, I didn't think anybody would really be on board with that.
27th,
When's our council meeting?
And that would be, let's see, it would be first. See, our last council meeting would be the 11th of December.
All right, well, we have one on the first week.
4th, the 11th.
Why don't we think in terms of piggybacking that with that 5 o'clock
After the working
and go
session.
at 6?
That's fine. So it'd be at the 4th, December 4th.
How does that sound to everybody?
That's a whole lot better than the 20th. That's just a rough time to
Absolutely.
get anything done, but that's what's in the ordinance, so.
So it's 6 after the working session.
And that's still.
Oh, it's the 6th or the 4th?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, at 6 on the 4th.
Oh, okay.
And that still will be a special meeting since it's not on the specified date.
We have designated dates, we have ours, so that would be a special
4th
meeting.
Thursday.
So do your due diligence and let her know now so that we don't have to get a brain lock and forget to let her know and then miss a meeting. So she'll have that information now and get it out there. That's one of the things I was worried about this meeting today, and I called her and said, no, we're good. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Under control.
Okay, item number 6, still there, Splash Park.
Yes, I asked for that to be added to the agenda. So I went to the Kentucky League of Cities conference that we had, and I would say that it was one that we should have been there. The pulse of the conference was about community and kids. They had so many sessions on community parks, splash parks, splash pads. It was how to do it, how to do it with your city. There were so many options, and it was packed. Every session was packed. If you didn't get in early, you didn't get in. And but what was good about it was they brought in a company called Bluegrass Recreation Sales and Installations. And I guess they're like one of the most popular. I mean, they travel.
For this area.
Okay, and they're awesome. They explained everything so well. I mean, everyone left with, we want a consultation. I mean, people were in line. I had to wait, of course. I was sitting there, and I didn't get up soon enough, so I had to wait in line. I was the last one. So they sat there and spoke with me, but I told them about our community, what we were facing, that, you know, we have parents, that we have people coming into our town, that we're a historic town, that we have a bunch of distilleries, that we have a pool. And what I found was, I was going to tell you about the pool, communities are pulling away from the pool. They're filling them up with dirt and making splash parks out of them.
Yeah.
So we're a rare breed, so kudos to you. Kudos to the recreation department, because across Kentucky, some of those that, you know, are facing deficits, they're getting rid of the pools. They're just not doing them anymore. So we're a rare breed. But in reference to the splash park, I mean, they can design anything. They have options for you. They can work with your current pool system, layouts. What they're going to do is they're going to come here. They're going to visit us. And they're already going to have a design for us. And it's just a prototype. But I wanted them to come here because a lot of cities were like, we want you to, I was like, we need you to come here and just look, you know. There's no cost to this. They just sit down, they talk to us. I told them that since we were historical and that our culture and our tradition is bourbon, that's our heritage. And I asked them about that, you know, being that our mainstay is bourbon. It's barrels. We see barrels everywhere. That they could design a splash park that had barrels, that was a themed splash park. And so anyway, they're gonna bring that, and I'm going to make sure that, you know, if you guys want to be there, you can be there, listen to what they got to say, and go from there. At least we hear from a company that is experts in it, because they are definitely experts. When they showed the work, they have done anything below 100,000 on up to 200,000. So when they showed their work, I mean, they were very detailed, and the information that they gave us, I mean, you were wowed by it, because a lot of people are facing money crunches, you know, can't afford it, and they showed you options of how to do this, you know, working with some of maybe the poorest populations, and getting them to have that splash park. And what they explained was that, you know, it doesn't have to be this huge, magnificent splash park. You know, you do with what you have, and the space that allows it. So I was really, there were other ones there, but this one right here was more informative, and prototypes to show you and designs to show you. And so I was really excited about the conference and all. And I was like, oh my God, where's our people at? To get excited with me. But, and I know that we got a ways to go, but I think having the conversation about the splash park is important, and that the community sees that, you know, we want it, but we're being thoughtful about and fiscally responsible about the money that's going to take to have that splash park. So, you know, of course, we're not getting rid of our pool, but that is definitely an enhancement to the kids that have no interest in the pool, you know, or the parents that just want to be able to go to that splash park, let their kids run it, or not have to travel 30 miles down the road to Washington, Louisville, Lawrenceburg, E-Town, to visit another community when they can stay right here and, you know, be in our community and not have to go away from it. So I just wanted to give that information to you because I did go to the conference and it was something that I thought you guys would want to hear about. I have some brochures, I didn't bring them today, but I'll most definitely give them to you guys so that you can see them and see what they're about. I mean, there's hundreds of companies out there, but they just seem so in tune with helping the city get what they need.
Now, they actually do the work in-house, or 'cause typically Bluegrass is basically a distributor?
Well, they have installation as well, but also if they just say do the design and we have people to do that's not a problem. So they're sales and installation. So that was something else that was different about them. You know, some of them were just complete sales. You know, we're gonna sell you this, but we're not gonna install it or help you with it. So that's what drew me to them, you know, and I went ahead and...
We purchased a lot of the playground set that's up here on the hill. It's from Bluegrass Recreation. We've done a lot of work with them, so they've always been a good company.
All right, well, that's all I have.
Thank you for that report, Keisha. Any other, no, we can't do any other business, I apologize. At this time, we're prepared to adjourn. Anybody want to make a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn, have a second?
Second.
All right, we're adjourned.
Yeah.